Yossarian is the primary protagonist of the novel Catch-22. Yossarian is one of the most victimized soldiers of the ridiculous rules that are imposed upon him and fellow soldiers. Joseph Heller's main purpose with Yossarian is to struggle against superior officers, and it seems that there is no chance of winning. Although being the protagonist, Yossarian is not a hero. In fact, he is pretty much the complete opposite of a stereotypical hero. For example, Yossarian is a coward, while your heroes are fearless. Yossarian has become an expert of avoiding missions. He retreats to the hospital constantly, faking a liver condition. A quote to describe Yossarian's character is on page 29. He had decided to live forever or die in the attempt, and his only mission each time he went up was to come down alive. The typical soldier in the army is supposed to be really brave and fearless of death. But Yossarian is the complete opposite of both of those traits. He's a coward, and he only cares about his own life. In the novel, on page 124, Yossarian realizes that the enemy is just the person that's trying to get you killed. So in the quote, he says, "The enemy," retorted Yossarian with weighted precision, "is anybody who's going to get you killed, no matter which side he's on, and that includes Colonel Cathcart." One time when Yossarian was in the hospital, he began talking about and contemplating life and death. On page 165, he said, "There's a much lower death rate inside the hospital than outside the hospital, and a much healthier death rate. Few people died unnecessarily. This is why Yossarian so often flees to the hospital. It is much safer, and people rarely die. And all the deaths there are peaceful and not gruesome, like Snowden." Yossarian has a different name compared to what the other people in the army have, such as Cathcart, Corn, Peckham, and Dreedle, who have normal names. There is multiple instances where people question this strange name. And surely with such a name, people expect him to be unique and not ordinary. Now, these are two quotes by two different people, both describing the same thing, of course. The first one is, at the time, Lieutenant Scheisskopf. And then the second time is Dr. Stubbs. The pivotal moment in Yossarian's life was Snowden's death. When Snowden's guts spilled to the floor, Yossarian finally realized that man was matter. Bury him and he'll rot like other kinds of garbage. The spirit gone, man is garbage. Rightness is all. On page 440. After Snowden's death, Yossarian became more hesitant to fly missions, because this event traumatized him. This is when he begins to start to seek refuge within the hospital, and he starts to value his life more. After spending more and more time in the war, Yossarian begins to realize that it is hopeless of escaping Catch-22 and other bureaucratic rules. Catch-22 is described as a hilariously sinister bureaucratic rule where a man is considered insane if he willingly continues to fly dangerous combat missions, but if he makes a formal request to be removed from duty, he is proven sane and therefore ineligible to be relieved. This is on the back of the book. Once Yossarian learns of Orr's miraculous escape, he realizes it is possible to escape Catch-22, but maybe not to defeat it. So Yossarian realized he could run away, and on page 450 with a conversation with Major Danby, he said, "I'm going to run away." "Oh no," Major Danby groaned. "You can't run away. Where can you run to? Where can you go?" "To Sweden." "To Sweden? You're going to run to Sweden? Are you crazy?" Orr did it. Overall, Yossarian is a coward. But after seeing Orr's example, he makes a bold decision of running away and escaping the Catch-22, especially after accepting Cathcart and Korn's deal. This quote by Podhoretz basically describes the political system of the military. And Heller's purpose with Yossarian and Catch-22 was to struggle against these so-called idiots, hustlers, and thieves, where it seemed as a winless situation. And at the end, Yossarian eventually escaped these people and fled to Sweden. So in a way, Yossarian prevailed.